Pretty beautiful, right?
How about we mix it up?
The art of reharmonizing.
Today, Enrique is going to walk us through 4 different techniques to transform any song.
I want us to try to think about it from a very artistic perspective, trying to be very intentional with our choices.
So Enrique, get us started. What's this first technique you want to show us?
So the first method, it's potentially the most famous one, is basically, I call them tonal substitutions. We're basically going to use all types of substitutions that we study in music theory, like substitute 5, a dominant substitute, or different types of 2-5-1s, lots of stuff that you can find within that chord family. So in this case, we're going to use the example of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. You know, beautiful melody, everybody knows, we know that harmony very well. So it's a great tune to reharmonize. The melody is also slow, so there's time to really hear each chord.
So when you're thinking about tonal substitutions, it's helpful actually to look back at the harmonic matrix. So this song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, is traditionally 1, 6, 3, 4, 1 as the chords. And so the harmonic matrix can help you to do the 2-5 that precedes each of those chords. So, and Enrique, you were saying that Keith Jarrett does this exact reharm.
Exactly. So the second chord of the piece is E minor. Instead of going from C to E minor, he creates a 2-5-1 to that E minor with F sharp half diminished, B7, and then E. Here you go, the F sharp. Instead of going to the F, which is the next chord, I can do... So basically I'm doing a 2-5-1 leading to each original chord of the piece.
So that's probably one of the first ways you'd learn to reharmonize a song like Somewhere Over the Rainbow. How do we take it a step further?
So this first way is not my favorite type of reharmonization. This second way probably is my favorite type of reharmonization. And I call it, it's a little bit random, but I call it the pivot chord or the pivot note reharmonization. We're going to choose specific notes of the melody that you really want to increase the tension. And we're going to use that note to completely reshape the chord and the harmony around, choosing a chord that has nothing to do with the family. If you sing the melody, Tim, what notes would you reharmonize?
Probably the longer notes because it gives us a little more space.
True. I think there's certain notes that are really important. Like I find the second note.
Yeah.
There's no need to repeat that C with the C majors. Let's change that chord, you know? That C deserves a great, crunchy reharmonization. And my thought here is that you can take that C, and we have a video called the one note composition exercise where we take one note and we try to write down all the possible chords that include that note in it. So if we decide to transform the C note into, like, let's say the 9th of a minor chord, what chord would it be?
Yeah, we'd now have a B flat minor 9.
Correct. Right? Has nothing to do with C major. So I have... already so special, right? What else? What if the C is the 6th of a minor chord?
Yeah, so we'll have it be E flat minor. Yeah, let's see what that sounds like.
So that's the 6th here. So I have C major. It starts to sound like Herbie Hancock.
Man, it really starts to give you like a springboard. I like this one because once you reharm that, especially with an unexpected voicing underneath, then you begin to think of ways that you can take it. That's probably a skill that you can develop as you're learning to reharmonize, but sometimes you need to follow your ear.
I think it's good to have a balance. If you use a really crazy reharmonized chord, maybe use then one that's a little more conventional that brings you back to your tonal gravity. Otherwise, you can get too far, you know? And again, if you blend all the colors together, you get brown, you know? So just using every possible color is not the best choice. I would try to negotiate a little bit. And maybe every other chord or whatever you feel, there's a chord that you feel deserves that amount of tension. So for example, I love this one that's the 13th. Maybe here. Or on the G on the arrival. If you want to really create a deceptive cadence, la, da, da, and then play something crazy. The note of the melody is G. What if I take G and transform into the ninth of a minor chord?
F minor. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Or it could be the third of a major 7 chord, the third of E flat major.
I don't like that one. I hated it.
A diminished major 7.
Now I like it.
Okay. So the idea here is that there's no real rule. You just try to find a chord that contains that note that is as far removed as possible from the original key. This creates that sense of disconnection, decoupling. You're decoupling, you know, like the spaceship that lets the other part go. Yeah. Oh, just kind of going crazy. If you practice a lot, you can start doing it in real time.
As we get into our third technique, we wanted to tell you about some of the programs we have coming up. Henrique, tell them about this workshop we're doing in May.
2 days in May that we're going to be covering harmony in depth, different types of reharmonizations, analysis, composition, how to put all together, how to orchestrate on piano and guitar. And this is something for people who really want to dive a little deeper. Okay, shall we go to number 3?
Yeah, this one's parallel chords, right?
Yeah, so method number 3 is actually quite simple. We call them parallel chords. You're going to find one chord that sounds really good in itself, and you're just going to transpose that chord exactly throughout the melody, not respecting the key signature, meaning you're going to use exactly the same intervals and just go to each different note. And this is a technique that you hear a lot in big band music from the 60s, so a little more modern. Sted Kenton, you hear that in George Russell's music. You hear that in some of Eleven's arrangements. This is something Stravinsky used to do a lot, so it comes from the universe of classical music. So let's say that you like an augmented chord like this. This is a D flat major 7 augmented, okay? And the melody, the top of the melody happens to be a C. So maybe I can use this.
Yeah, this is a really good way to get some mileage out of your orchestration, is to do these parallel chords.
So I don't know, I like this one, for example. It's the chord from Debussy, from Clair de Lune. It's basically an intervallic chord. So you learn there's a minor second, there's a major third, there's a 50. You can think like it's coming as a rootless minor chord, but it doesn't matter. It's just a specific combination of intervals.
I'd say this is my least favorite. I hate this style of I hate this style of reharmonization.
This I like it. If it's well
do
done,
you?
Some parallel. Yeah, I do like it. Like
it. I feel like it's got to be more complicated chords for it to sound.
Listen, This man right here, Hermeto Pascoal, who wrote this piece of music right here, does that all the time. Don't you dare insult my man.
I'm not
Hermeto.
trying to insult people. I'm just saying I hate it. So can we move to something that I'm going to love?
Yeah, it's...
Okay, can we talk about voice leading? Because that always works for me.
Well, you're a very vocal man, right, Tim?
I am tremendously opinionated and vocal.
So the thought behind a good voice leading to reharmonize something is the idea of having your voices move very seamlessly and not vertically. So instead of thinking about individual chords, we're going to think more about the movement and the way that chords can transform into one another. Okay? I like doing that, always starting with an open chord. It's a chord where instead of your 3 notes being together, you spread them apart. You take the middle note and play an octave higher. So instead of C major here, and then I can choose one of these 3 notes and maybe change it. Change it up and down. Half step. I love half step changes. Maybe another vote. So I'm basically just moving one voice at a time. I'm doing randomly. I'm just choosing on the spot and seeing what comes up.
Yeah, it's like a organic discovery that you make as you're going through this way of reharming.
So let's see if it works. Maybe I'm gonna change the top voice. No, the middle voice up.
Ah. It doesn't get better than that, I've got to say. And so, Enrique, it could probably be kind of intimidating for our Jazz Lab friends out there to see you do that in real time. How would you approach that?
Yeah, the way I like to think of is to go really slow. There's something beautiful about the economy of voices on something like this. It's really easy to harmonize and just add 10 notes together and create, really like plastery chord where it kind of blurs everything together. The real challenge is using a chord that's as simple as like 3 notes and make it sound new. And then see if you can move the melody and see how that sounds. It may clash or not, but even if it clashes, it may be a desirable clash. It may be a beautiful dissonance. For example,
Yeah.
there's a little clash here, you see? And I kind of like it. So some notes may not work. Like here, I was a little confounded, but I could change another note and go in a different direction. And you'd be surprised that sometimes just by using those 3 notes and moving one of them and then another one, your chord starts to morph into different territories. And then that melody gains a completely new type of clothing.
Enrique, this was a bunch of fun, except for the parallel chords. This was really great.
We should add that to the list. Diminished chords, parallel
chords.
Reharmonizations. We have a short ebook with all this information, some of those chords, some scores for you to check out. So feel free to go to jazzlabmusic.org where you can download all of our ebooks for free.
Also, this summer at NEC, New England Conservatory, our institutional partner, where we host Jazz Lab summer camps for both youth and for adults. So whatever your age, if you're interested in coming and being immersed with amazing jazz teachers, Jazz Lab's a great program to look into. So click the links in the description and go visit our website.
Take care.